What is up, everybody? It's your girl Gigi the Master Manifester. I am back with another video. All right, my client is already here. How are you doing? How are you feeling? So I currently have blue, but let me know if you want to change the color. That's light blue. Hey everybody, make sure you like this video as you join. Okay, blue is fine. How's everybody doing? Thank you guys for joining. Hey Elizabeth, how are you doing? I'm doing good, Annova. I'm excited for tonight's reading. I'm actually vlogging, so I vlogged a little bit about what happened last night with Naima. So if y'all want the backstory on what happened last night, pretty much I had a dream about my client's ancestors, and today's her reading. So the dream was just so powerful, y'all. Like, oh my god. So while I was getting ready, I was vlogging and I was talking about it, but just know, y'all, Spirit showed me everything. Spirit showed me everything. So I already know how my client is feeling, and I already know how her ancestors are feeling. So I'm excited for tonight. I already know exactly who we're gonna call on, who we're gonna speak to. I just hope my client is ready, cause the way Spirit came in that dream, they told it all. Told it all. So I'm already tapped in. And the crazy part is, her first ancestor reading, we spoke with her cousin, and he was one of the spirits that was in the dream, and I knew exactly who he was. So I thought that was just divine. Hey Britt, how you doing? You feeling okay? Hey Keita, I'm glad to see y'all on here. Make sure y'all like this video for me. I'm not gonna take too much time today to get started. I'm gonna shuffle the music. Um, okay. Interesting. 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 Are y'all ready for the reading? I'm so excited. Yes. Can't wait to get a reading. You have a reading next month, though. Yeah, it's coming. Seems like it takes a long time for your reading to get here, but trust me, it comes fast. It comes very fast. Let me hurry up. Put some Florida water on my hands. Naima, are you ready? The song is called How Deep Is Your Love? So I'm excited to see who's going to come out. I'm going to pray and talk to your ancestors before we get started. But we'll see who wants to come out. We'll see what the main message is. And then I don't want to hear it tonight. I don't want to hear. I don't have no type of questions. I don't have no concerns because after that dream, I feel like you should have at least a couple questions to ask because we stayed up late talking about this. So I feel like we know at least where to go with the reading, like the direction. So I'm excited, super excited. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you guys for joining the live. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you would like to book a personal reading, my website is www.mastermanifestor888readings.com. Okay. Britt said the songs are a vibe. Yeah, you are. I keep getting copyrighted though, so a lot of the songs on my readings playlist is kind of like, yeah, we can't fuck up the bag. So I'm gonna probably keep the music a little low today. Okay, so I'm gonna pray over the cards really quick. Pray for my client. Pray for her ancestors, and we're gonna get straight into it. All right, Ashe. Okay. All right. All right. So with this reading, she didn't have like a specific question, but I'm going to just kind of like go in the direction I feel is best. So I'm going to ask them who who was who wanted me. I know it was her grandma, but I just want to see who's gonna come out, like, because it was multiple spirits that I had met in the dream. So I want to see who was the culprit of that dream, like who orchestrated that, who wanted that to happen, and yeah, we're just gonna get to the bottom of it, and we're going to. I'm gonna try to address everything, but that would probably take forever because it was multiple spirits. Okay. Now, my first question, like I said, is gonna be who wanted me to know what was going on with my client? Who was the spirit that wanted me to know that? Okay, let's get it. Uh, Spirit. Which one of her ancestors wanted me to know what was going on with her? Who wants to step forward? Well, actually. I'm gonna use the Hoodoo Tarot. Yeah, use the Hoodoo Tarot. Let me make sure I got my question right. What am I asking? Is that, do you want that to be the first question? Like, who was it that wanted me to know this information? Obviously, it was your ancestors, but who was the spirit responsible for the dream that I had yesterday? I think that's a good one. Who was the spirit that was responsible for the dream I had yesterday? Which one of our ancestors? It was your cousin, the boy cousin. It was Curtis. Absolutely. It was Curtis. It was Curtis. He was the only boy in the dream, besides the white man in the dream. Look, this is the third card that came out. Literally, this is exactly how he looked. I told her in the dream he was dark skinned, which he wasn't dark skinned, but he looked like somebody I knew in real life named Chris. But her cousin's name is Curtis. So that was Spirit's way of letting me know that's who it was, because it was only one boy cousin. Okay? Then the song is called Self Control. The song that just came on. And that's exactly what he was talking to you about in the first reading, because he was apologizing because unfortunately this cousin did sexually abuse her when he was alive. So he was very apologetic, which I appreciated. Like, it wasn't like he was acting like he didn't do shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can speak with this spirit, because not every spirit is going to be elevated or in the best energy. Of course, we would like that, but that's just not realistic. Okay? So this is exactly how I saw him. He looked more like this. He looked older. Well, maybe he looked about, I would just say his face looked stressed. Like, he looked like he had something on his mind. But he was also eating chicken, so it's like he was smashing his food. He wasn't really, he was talking to me, like he asked me like how I was doing and stuff like that. I wish I would have been conscious in the dream to like know what to ask and stuff like that. But in the dream, it was just, the dream was dreaming, so I didn't really, I couldn't really pinpoint like, because of what I was experiencing in the dream. But yeah, so he's the spirit that wanted this to happen, which we knew this probably. I knew it was a possibility, but I would have thought it would have been your grandma. I thought she would have been the one, but no, it was Curtis. So this is a continuation of your last reading. He's a little emotional right now, like he's kind of like crying. Okay, so what's going on, Curtis? So you wanted to show me emotionally what she was going through. So how are you experiencing what she's going through right now, Curtis? So he's bringing up your spiritual gifts, clairaudience, clear hearing. The spirit will communicate with you through hearing. See, spirit is listening. We are present, ask the right questions, avoiding big issues to address small ones. So he wants to get straight to the point. December. So was he born in December? What's the significance of December? He says he feels like your spiritual gifts. He feels like your spiritual gifts are activating, in a sense of you're becoming more aware that you've always had spiritual gifts. So he's putting an emphasis on the smell, taste, and hearing. So clear smell, clear. So, um, clairsentience, clairaudience. I forgot what the other one is. Claircognizance. No, that's knowing. Um, I forgot the smell one. So, what's the significance of December, Curtis? December. Oh, so he's sending you like, for one, he's protecting you, but he's also sending you like good luck. So something significant is gonna happen for you in December. Me personally, I feel like going. What I'm picking up is going into December. Look what's on the bottom of the deck. Daddy issues. So he's bringing up the daddy issue. Look at this. Whoa. Okay. So it's crazy because the first card that I pulled was a money card, but I was like, that's irrelevant right now. But he is sending you, which I did. I think I told you in the last reading he was speaking about like sending you like blessings and things like that, because he was apologetic for what he did to you. Um, this is crazy. You get all three cards. This is him. So he's like showing me his life from childhood, young adult to adult. So right now he is an older man. I feel like he is still carrying the energy, the weight of what he did to you. Um, he's still carrying that. I really want him to release that and let it go. Did you do a releasal for him, like I told you to? Because he's still kind of in the same energy, which I understand. I get it. Like, how can you be forgiven for something like that, for abusing somebody like that? But she forgave you, Curtis. Like, she let it go. So what you showed me in the dream, Curtis, you were eating chicken. Is that something you want as an offering, or why were you eating like you was eating like you ain't ate in years? Let me see. Why did you appear to me like you did in the dream, Curtis? Copy this. Oh, crown chakra. Why did you appear like that in the dream? It's like I almost don't want to use this deck. Let me use a different deck. Curtis, let us know. Like, why did you appear like that in the dream? Well, he does have fish lined up on this thing, on this, like, behind him. He has fish lined up. I feel like he's hungry. Like, point blank period. Like, he's hungry. Because the way he was eating, child, he didn't even look up. Like, he barely looked up at me. I don't even know how he knew who I was. You would have thought I brought the food or something, like the way he was eating. So why did you appear to me like that in the dream, Curtis? Look, deception and envy. What the fuck is this? Why did you appear like that in the dream? Okay, so what he just told me, I don't know if he was the type of person that didn't trust people very easily, but he was watching me in that dream. It's almost like he was trying to see if he can trust me, is what I'm picking up. I feel like his life, what he went through in his life, because he is showing me his life, it feels like he was not easy to trust people. Like he wasn't the type to just trust people. So like me coming to his grandma's house was kind of like, who is this? So I think him like eating was like a distraction, like to try to like throw me off. Okay, so Curtis, why was you focused on me in the dream? Like, cause I was really just like a bystander. So why were you focused on me like that? Okay, solitude. So he says he wasn't focused on me, he was focused on you. He was looking, because you know how I said you were standing by yourself in the dream? Um, it kind of felt like you were very withdrawn. So you get the solitude card and the triumph card. And it's these two cards here are 7. Then you have a horse for the spirit animal. So triumph, look at this card. This card is going backwards. This woman is going backwards, okay? So this It's like he was picking up like how you were withdrawn. It's like that even alarmed him. So I'm trying to understand the timeline. So in the dream, I think you guys were like 19, 20. In the dream, that's what I was getting from the age. So around that time, trying to figure out what was going on with you, like, because it seems like, because even his body placement is like going this way, like looking backwards, looking on the past, stuck in the past. You see what I'm saying? So I do feel like, clarify for me the Triumph card and the Solitude card, Curtis. Clarify. So you were paying attention to my client, not me. Obstacles and challenges. So I feel like he felt responsible. So were you supposed to like move away or something like that, or did you move away or something at that time? Because it's kind of like he's making me feel like he feels responsible for the reason why you didn't do something or you didn't pursue something or go after something. So he kind of feels like, in a sense, he was the one to set you back. I think he understands how much your life changed after the abuse happened. I think he's taking responsibility for that. Um, like whatever obstacle or challenge that you were going through. So that's what it is. The solitude. You know how that was an emphasis in my dream, like how you were just so withdrawn emotionally and just off to the side to yourself. He felt responsible for that, and I think it bothered him because it's like it happened in front of company. It wasn't just like the family around. It's like even me being around and seeing like the kids were around me, like hugging me, and everybody was like, it felt like everybody was happy to see me, but he was kind of just like head down. He was observing, like he was really observing. He was observing me, but he was really like kind of shocked that that was your energy. Like he didn't think you were that withdrawn. So it kind of feels like, okay, maybe you guys were around each other a lot at some point, but then you either went somewhere, left, or even if you didn't leave, maybe you stopped coming around as much. So he wasn't seeing you as much. That's kind of what I'm getting. So does that make sense? Because I'm seeing him see you go through obstacles and challenges that he feels responsible for. Like even now, the solitude, he feels like the way you're going about like your mental health, he feels like that has something to do with him. So it's obviously his way of saying like, again, this is the age or what he did caused you to be this way. She said, I was really depressed back then. I did stop coming around. So this makes sense. Like depression. Like what do you do when you're depressed? You withdraw, you remove yourself, you stop coming around. So like I understand like why he was kind of side eyeing. I had my child at 18. Wow. Okay. So if I'm seeing you like around, so did you see him at all when you were like 19? And was he older than you? Because I'm seeing like the ages 19 and 20. So I don't know who is the one that's 19 or 20. But I guess he would be the older one or you would be the older one, whichever way. Do you have like a specific question for him? Because I do want to get into some other stuff. So he's 3 years older. Okay. So he was the older one, which makes sense because he did look older, but he was definitely dark skinned, just like these cards. So was there a time that y'all were all at your granny's house? Because I feel like I was seeing something specific. So can you think back? Um, because he's still showing me like exactly what I saw in the dream. So maybe that's where he's stuck. I feel like that could be where he is stuck. Like kind of reliving that moment. Of course, not me there, but maybe it was somebody else around or like, you know, y'all hear the music hurting deeply inside. Trust who? I'm telling y'all. Okay, so my client said just let him know he wasn't the reason I didn't come around. So I get what you're saying, but he does feel like he has something to do with it. But he was more so hurt because he felt like the relationship that y'all had. Like y'all were so close. He's making me want to cry. Uh, please don't make me cry. Like I'm not trying. I'm holding it together. I'm good. Um, but he's look at this. Uh, he is not fucking playing with us. Oh my goodness. Okay, so she doesn't feel like you're the reason she wasn't coming around. She was going through her own things, but I get what you're saying, Curtis. You do feel like you were responsible because you did something to her, and I get that guilt is eating you alive, but you're gonna have to let that go. Because at the end of the day, this is a grown woman. You were a grown man at this point that you're referencing me to, like this point of your life. So I feel like that's something that you're gonna have to accept because she's accepted. She had no choice but to accept it. So you gotta accept that so you can move on, so she can move on. Because you kind of are. I feel that you have elevated somewhat because we did, you know, we had did the release for you, but you're still holding on. So let's see more. Let's get more insights into the dream. Okay, so you showed me her emotionally withdrawn. So is there something that you feel you want her to be focused on at this time for her mental health? Because you brought this to my attention for a reason. So what do you want her to be focused on over the next couple of months? You showed us December, so give me insights into what's going on. So what do you want her to be focused on, Curtis? Dr- girl, girl. Uh, uh, are we not talking about a motherfucking dream right now? Like y'all, I am baffled. Oh, spirit on the back of our neck. This is insane. What the? Whoa. She said we were very close and I did become standoffish when I would see him. So that's what he's talking about. Like, you're saying, like, that's not the reason you stopped coming around. Like, what is the reason? Because I feel like it is that. Like, but can you just say that? Like, I know you might have a different vision or view of it, but the way Spirit showed me the dream and the way he's explaining it to me and how he's like, if you think about how this conversation's been going, it's like I'm trying to tell him it didn't have nothing to do with you, but he's like, no, it did. It did. It did have something to do with me. And you know how in the dream I kept telling you, like, I was trying to share my secret and I couldn't get it out, and that was frustrating me? You need to spit it out. You got to be honest about how you feel. You have to be straightforward. You have to be blunt about what the fuck it is and how you feel. So I'm not trying to make you say that that's the reason you didn't come around, but can you tell him that that's the reason why? One of the reasons why. It was uncomfortable. It was awkward. Cause the way I saw you in the dream, you was like, you wasn't looking at nobody. You was just like spaced out. I don't remember you really looking at anybody. You wasn't looking at him. He wasn't looking at you because his head was down. But it felt forced. Like he was trying to force himself to not engage with what was going on. That's another reason that let me know that that was this cousin. So that's what, excuse me, that's what I want. I want you to be able to speak your truth. And now we're having the conversation with him. So now's the time for you to do that. So she said it was very uncomfortable. So was it uncomfortable because what? So why was it uncomfortable for you? Besides the obvious, but like, was it uncomfortable because that happened? Was it uncomfortable because that was on your mind when you were anytime you was around him? Did that cross your mind? Like, was that, did it bother you? Did she said it's like how much I loved him and my family, I couldn't trust them anymore. Why couldn't you trust your family? What was it that you couldn't trust with your family anymore? Because I felt that. I felt like the distrust. I felt the. It's like I could read between the lines. I could read. I was literally reading the room. But I can understand what you're saying, like how much you loved him. That's what I feel like. I felt the love that he has for you, and I think that's why he's crying. It feels like, how could I possibly do something like that? Like he feels disgusted. I mean, I get it, I really do, but I just want him to like be free from that. But I think it's gonna take you being honest about how you feel, because he really knows how you feel. Like, so he says dreams. So how did it feel, Curtis, for you to be around her? Oh, reconciliation. He thought it would get better. He thought you would forgive him. He better not get me to cry. I feel like he was trying to pick up too much on like your energy, that he would overthink it. She said, I feel like they were in some way responsible because I felt it wasn't the first time it happened in our family. It definitely wasn't. I could pick that up when I saw that picture of the women. I knew it happened to multiple people, including Curtis. It happened to him too, and I wonder if he'll tell us, if he'll give us specific information, because he did tell us last time that he was sexually abused. Um, but let's not. I really want to focus more on you, but I want you to have a better understanding of like his line of thinking. My kid says some onions around here somewhere. I'm telling you, I'm trying my hardest not to cry. So reconciliation. He just thought it would get better. He thought, you know, we were young, we were kids. It was silly, but as he got older, he started to understand how traumatizing that could be, because he was a boy, you know, and you're a girl. So it's like, okay, it's not just like we hunching. It's like I'm actually kind of forcing myself on her, and that's a different thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry to get vulgar, but like let's be real. So he thought it would get better. Keep seeing him around water. So here he has a waterfall. This is how I know he's crying as well. Here's the water. The song's called Intimidated by Kaytranada and her. So yeah, it was intimidating. It was awkward. So okay. So you thought it would get better, Curtis. What else? What else? What else do you want to tell her? What else do you want to tell her? Love, strength, blessings. So he's very like I don't ever see him not being in your frequency. He feels very connected to you in a way that is like almost like you know how like you would love yourself. That's how he loves you. So it feels like a very strong, overwhelming kind of love. Also, the spirit animal, the cat, that's him. He's the cat. Okay? And I'm thinking back on your first reading. I will go back and look at that because I think the cat spirit animal did come up. He would also be a blue butterfly, but on this strength card, if you pay attention, on all these cards is full moons. Full moons represent secrets. Okay? Secrets coming out. This whole theme of this whole reading, the dream that I had, is about a secret. Okay? So full moons represent secrets. You got a moon here. You got a moon here on the love card, the self love card. This is like a galaxy, celestial kind of energy. But the moons are important. Even here, like the astrology wheel. Yeah, this is talking about a secret. He wants you to find that self love again. He wants you to dig very deep, like even before what happened to you happened to you. He wants you to dig deep, and he wants you to find that love within. He says because you're blessed, you have a lot of spiritual and material um, blessings. So he's saying like you're really not hurting for anything in life, and he's also saying like you're very strong. Like regardless of everything that you've been through, he feels like you're like the he's saying like poster child. What's I don't know what the terminology is, but like you're like what it means to be a mother. You're what it means to be a woman. You're what it means to be love. You're what it means to be forgiveness. He's just saying like, oh, he's making me emotional again, but he's showing me back to the dream. He's reading like your face and just like how your face was just so stale and so like this. Like this is how you looked. But for him, he could still feel the love. Like he knew that you still loved him. He knew you still cared about him. He knew like all of these things. It was never, is she mad at me? That like no, he still felt the love, but that guilt was eating his ass up. Okay, that's all that is. Annabelle said, "Fear of judgment from family definitely plays a part in openly admitting what happened." Yeah, that's what he talked about in the first reading. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's definitely embarrassing. It is. Like we're not even gonna act like that. Like that wasn't embarrassing. So, do you have a question for him before we move on? It's just like, how do we get past that embarrassment? So, actually, I'm gonna ask him because I feel like it's something over time. The less embarrassed you are, Naima, the less embarrassed he'll be. It's like the embarrassment on your face. This is kind of what's making everything like he can't be at rest until he knows you're at rest and you are not at rest. Okay? You're not. It's a process. Moon phase, but you too afraid to say it too. Hold the fuck up. Let me go back. Cause y'all think I'm one of them. I just know y'all do. Yeah, so he sees you as all those wonderful things, but he just wants you to see that within yourself. He doesn't want you to slip back into old patterns because he's gonna always feel responsible. He's gonna always blame himself for that. He's always gonna like, and I get it. I get it. It's like, how could you not? Because you definitely had something to do with that. So unless it happened to you from somebody else. So did that happen to you by anybody else? Because if not, I mean, I see why he feels responsible. Like he low key is responsible. That's just me. I'm not gonna cap with you. Give you the world. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta address it. You do. It's gonna take time, but you can do it. I know you can. You're strong, and you're strong because you had to be. But now at this point in your life, be strong because you want to be. Because you're a strong woman. You come from a long line of strong women. So now you have to have a sense of pride about yourself. You can't walk around and be carrying like deep down inside, carrying that energy that's just like, don't victimize yourself. You are a victim, but don't victimize yourself, okay? Because it puts you in a like a what am I trying to say? It puts you in a state of waiting around on things or feeling like a sense of hesitation on things, not fully trusting yourself, not fully going for it, not fully saying what you feel, not fully being in your own energy. So he does want you to like be more in that energy. Okay. So you want to know, is he lonely in the spirit realm? Curtis, so she wants to know, are you lonely? Wisdom, heartache and loss, harmony. I don't think he's lonely. I think he's broken though. Authority. So no, he's not lonely. He's with a woman. I don't know if this is like a lover. Curtis, who are you with in the spirit realm? Who are, you brought the sunshine? In the sun? In love in the sun? Whoa. Whoa, let me go back. Let me go back. Wait a minute. He's with a woman. Here we back together in love, in the sun. So I would say he's with a woman, somebody he loves. It's the lover's card. He's like older. He's an older man. He has gray hair. He's doing okay. He's in the sunlight. Finding happiness again after a rough period. You make me feel alive again. So we definitely have something to do with his energy releasing to the sunlight. Because look, this was y'all reconciling. So light, light. Okay. Oh, he's with grandparents as well. Yeah, so I figured he was with family because of how he showed up in the dream. He was married when he died. Is his wife deceased? She said, I'm happy for him. So wait, is his wife deceased? Because he's showing me him with a woman. I know he's with the grandmother and the grandfather for sure. Because I see them here on the cards. So she's still alive. So I wonder if she's there with him in spirit. Because he is showing me him like in a togetherness. Which this makes sense. Heartache and loss. This could be her energy. Like the woman's energy. That's heartbroken about him being gone. This is like a father card, a husband card, the emperor card. So this would make sense. 3, 4, 5. Oh, long distance lover. Okay, so she's not deceased. Oh, and this card. Wait a minute. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Very interesting. So this long distance lover card, it does let me know his woman, she does communicate with him though. Like I'm still seeing her talk to him and he's talking to her, and I think it's probably been hard for her to communicate with him before we did that spirit crossing ceremony that we did for him. Like I could see her having dreams about him now and things like that, because how he came through in my dream, I'm sure he's now able to like come in people's dreams and stuff like that. So that's good. I see him doing better. I just still see a little bit of heartache, a little bit of like loss, a little bit of sadness. Of it still gives me a sense of like, damn, like I wish I was still alive. Like I still wish I was here on Earth. So he does kind of give me that. She said maybe so, because she says she'll never find a man like him. Yeah, so this does give me somebody that's still holding on. So yeah, it makes sense because the lover's card. So that does give like married. Look, deceased relative. I'm sorry for the way I treated you. Childhood bullying/abuse. Am I fucking cap? Regrets. Forgive me. Am I one of them? Bruh. Okay. Cause look, this ain't that. Wowzers. He done showed up and showed out. Okay, so I want to move on. So let me ask you: would you like to speak with your grandma or your aunt, or would you like me to see which one comes out? Cause we'll have to do either or. Cause I'm not gonna have time to do both. But thank you, Curtis, for coming to me in a dream. I really appreciate it. I thank you for helping me have a better understanding of what's going on. And your cousin loves you and she forgives you. And I know she already said this, but I know it's hard for you to like believe that, but it's just gonna take some time. But you may go back to the spirit realm, Curtis. We're gonna speak to the next ancestor. Goodbye.
Kodak Black, okay, lump, at heart, told, and this is the big stuff.
Okay, give me just a second.
I'm a killer, he's a killer, she's a killer bitch. We some killers walking zombies trying to scratch that itch. Germophobic heteroid. I am not for the faint of heart. My genetic build can build multi-universes. The man of God playing baby shark with my daughter. Watching for sharks outside at the same time. Life as a protective father, I kill for. My son Enoch is the part two. When I inspire my children to make higher valleys. In this present moment, I saw that dude. Asked Whitney about my lust addiction. Text messaging bitches got my thumbs hurt. Said president for a new sacrilegion. Writer's block for 2 years, nothing moved me. Ask God to speak through me. That's what you hear now, the voice of yours truly. Teleport out my home body for comfort. I don't pass judgment, past life regressions. Keep me in question, where did I come from? I don't think like I used to. No, I don't blink like I used to. Aqua stares at everybody. See the flesh of man, but still this man.
Why does song sound like Curtis? Like, do y'all hear this? Past regressions keeping me in question. This is exactly what he just got through talking about. Huh. What the fuck? He is yapping. Y'all.
Trying to scratch that itch. Germophobic heteroid. I am not for the faint of heart. My genetic build can build multi-universes. The man of God playing baby shark with my daughter. Watching for sharks outside at the same time. Life as a protective father, I kill for. My son Enoch is the part two. When I inspire my children to make higher valleys. In this present moment, I saw that dude. Asked Whitney about my lust addiction. Text messaging bitches got my thumbs hurt. Said president for a new sacrilegion.
Ask Whitney about my lust addiction.
Nothing move me. Ask God to speak through me. That's what you hear now. The voice of yours truly. Teleport out my home body for comfort. I don't pass judgment, past life regressions. Keep me in question. Where did I come from? I don't think like I used to.
She said you the truth.
Like I used to.
That spirit, they be.
See the flesh of man, but still this man compared to nobody. Yesterday I prayed to the flowers and trees. Gratification to the powers that be. Synchronization with my energy chakras. The ghost of Dr. Sebi paid it forward. Cleaned out my toxins, bacteria heavy. Sciatica nerve pinch. I don't know how to feel. Like the first time I fucked a white bitch. The first time I fucked
she said I cried a little bit.
I was 16 at the Palisades, fumbling my grades. I traveled.
Now he's talking about him being 16. We was talking about him being a young man. This is crazy. So she said I cried a little bit, but I feel good. I felt his warmth. And I'm glad you got that release because that's what you needed to do. That's what he needed to do. We all need to be releasing because like this is years worth of trauma and suppressed emotions. So now's the time for you to release this, as well as everybody that's on here. We all have traumas and things that we sometimes don't feel comfortable enough to speak. But if the dead is telling you to release your demons and release those secrets, they're telling you that it's for a reason. The dead telling the living something is, I mean, I would listen because there's somewhere we're not, and that's a blessing. You know, for us to still be here, to be able to heal, to be able to address our traumas, and yeah, all of it significant. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. I'm gonna see who comes out next. Hey, Asha. So let's see. I'm gonna go to the next song. Who always on here? Drop a comment. Y'all be lurking. Y'all be lurking in the shadows on here. I be like, who is in here? All right, let's see who is going to come out next. The song is called Paint It by Lucky Day. All right. Does anybody else want to step forward for her? It's a woman. Who are you, spirit? Whoa. Ooh. So it's got to be an older. Who is this? Is the grandmother or the aunt? I think it's the grandpa. Well, grandpa's trying to come out. It's a grandpa card. Public figure, tell my story. So you know how we were talking about, I was telling you that, well, the story that was revealed through the dream and all of that stuff was with your grandpa. So yeah, this is actually your grandpa, not a woman, because this the young woman would be you. Okay, so the place that your where your grandparents' house was, is that this town that you live in, or is it somewhere else in Georgia? Let's see. It's grandpa. This card came out twice because your dad is alive, so this is grandpa. Root chakra. He's talking about the truth being revealed. This card came out too. Every table has to stand on its own legs. Root chakra imbalance indicated. Okay, it's about 20 miles away. So you're going to be going home soon. Well, grandpa wants you to go home soon. So when he got killed, how old were you? He wants you to be proud of your family, where you come from, and he feels like the sexual trauma that you experience, it keeps you withdrawn. It keeps you not wanting to be proud of where you come from. It keeps you in a state of lack, to be honest, because you come from like a very, very, and I feel like I say this every reading to everybody, but you come from a rich heritage. So the spirit wants you to be proud of where you come from. They want you to sometimes go back to the old ways, like you know how like washing your clothes and hanging them up on the line. He's showing me that. He's showing me like a very rural way of life. So this is definitely what I saw in the dream of like how the house looked and stuff like that. Even though I didn't see grandpa in the dream, um, he had to be somewhere. Or maybe he was already deceased at that time. So when you were 19, was grandpa deceased yet? Okay. She said I wasn't born. My dad was a baby. He died in 1960. Okay. So grandpa's talking to you, and this is interesting because you never really you never met him. So he was telling me to tell you like you would have been super close to him. Like he would have been the one to pick up on the bullshit that was going on. Okay, so he is saying that like he would have known, he would have said something. he wasn't the type to like sit on stuff. Like if something happened, he was very vocal about that. I would say he's a lot more vocal than your grandma. He was not fucking playing. He wasn't playing them type of games at all. Okay. And then you get the card where it doesn't come out in the rinse, eventually comes out in the wash. Truth reveals itself. So this is the spirit that this is another spirit that is trying to get you to speak your truth. So you know how in the dream I couldn't freaking say what my secret was. He would have been the one to grab you and ask you what's going. Like he probably would have cussed you out. What the fuck is going on? Like what the fuck is going on? Like what's going on? That's what he's like saying. So yeah, he was not one of them ones. He probably would have been a drinker. Cause he got a Bud Light right here. I feel like he does want a Bud Light. Whatever beer this is with the red writing on, I think that is Bud Light. She said they said he didn't play. Yeah, he didn't. He did not play. He was very independent, very strong, very rooted. Because you got two root chakra cards. Then this card says, becoming a father is my proudest achievement and biggest blessing. My children feel my love, protection, and affection. So Grandpa is offering up like spiritual protection for you. Um, he's showing up like a father figure for you, even though you didn't get a chance to meet him. He's very loving, but he's very stern and very protective. Okay. So, Grandpa, what's your message to your granddaughter? I know it is what doesn't come out in the rinse eventually comes out in the wash. I know you want her to stand on her own 2 feet. He's basically saying he keeps cussing, so he's saying like, "Speak the fuck up, speak the fuck up." It's like, so Grandpa, who do you want her to speak up to? Like, who do you want her to share her story with? Your partner, if you haven't already. Because look, prosperity begins 2 hands. Is this the Georgia peach? Is this the Georgia peach? Ma'am. Victory and success. Shadow work. Suffering and silence. Girl. Grandpa on your neck. Transformation. Oh. He is on your neck. He had to be in the dream somewhere. Cause he is not playing with you. Like wow. And he's smiling. He's funny. He's making me laugh. This is a young woman suffering in silence. They tap dancing on the back of your neck. He feels guilty though. But he's talking about you doing your shadow work. Sitting on his face, hope he can breathe the plastic. Baby, get your love and make sure it's fantastic. Maybe, take off for the high, start crashing, and his dick go flaccid like Cisco's dragon.